we are going to learn the deeper meaning and the secrets to the 22 letters of the Alef Bet. I would like to thank Rabbi Mordechai Nemtsov, Shliach to Ohai, and author to the articulated Alef Bet, for providing for us these beautiful illustrations for all of the letters. The letter Aleph means to learn. If you look at its shape, it has three parts. The first part is the Yud at the top. The second part is the Yud or the Dalid in the bottom. The third part is the Vav connecting these two letters. And its significance is that the Yud at the top refers to Hashem. The Yud or the Dalid in the bottom refers to my neshama. How does my neshama reconnect itself to Hashem? Through the connecting Vav, which refers to learning Torah. The letter Beis means a bayis, a house. If you look at its shape, a Beis is encircled on three sides, forming the shape of a Dalid and a Vav. In the Jewish compass, where an east is facing upwards, this is enclosed on the east, on the south, and in the west, leaving an opening in the north. The north is the direction in which all evil tries to enter. And when a person is successful to fight away that evil, then that is what allows you to create a bayis, a house for Hashem, within yourself. The letter Gimel means to give. If you look at its form, it has two parts. The first part is the Vav or the Zayin standing tall, and the second part is the Yud at its foot facing outwards. What this represents is the person that's standing tall and standing strong. And this person has its foot in motion, actively looking to give from himself to another. And when Hashem sees this quality within us, then Hashem in return will give from himself and give us a reward for the good that we choose to do. The letter Dalid means dal, which is poor. If you look at its shape, unlike the letter Gimel, this letter looks like a person that's bent over, that's humble, that acknowledges that not everything comes from himself. And it has a protrusion to its right, which is the Dalid asking for assistance from the Gimel. The letter Hey means to take. If you look at its shape, it has two parts. Firstly, it has the Dalid from the previous letter, the recipient. And then it has the letter Yud, which is the foot and the heel of the letter Gimel that was giving to the Dalid. So when the giver is successful in giving and the recipient is successful in taking, that is what shapes the letter Hey. If you take the Yud from the right of the Hey and you place it before the Dalid, that spells the word Yad, which means hand, because it is with our hands that we can give and we can take. The letter Vav means a hook. This letter has two meanings. The first one, if you look at its shape, a Vav is a straight line with a little hook coming out at its left. This represents the idea of connection, like in the Mishkan they had these pillars, these lines with these hooks that connect one thing to another. Or the letter Vav represents a mashpia, a giver. The letter Zayin means a weapon, a sword. This letter has two meanings. The first one is if, as its shape and its name, it refers to a sword, a weapon that a person uses. Another meaning of the letter Zayin is a mekabel, a recipient that receives something from the mashpia, the giver. The letter Ches means chai, which is life. If you look at its shape, it has three parts. You have a Vav to the right, and a Zayin to the left, and a Chatoy Teres, a bridge connecting these two. The Vav on the right represents the mashpia, the man, the giver. The Zayin on the left represents the mekabel, the woman, the recipient. And the Chatiteres, the bridge that connects these two, represents Hashem. And it is only with these three joined together can they then create and form Chai, continuous life. The first time the letter Tes appears in the Torah is for the word Toiv, which means good. After the union of the letter Ches comes a Tes, which is the good, and at its right it's bent inwards, inverted, concealed, representing the pregnant mother, which is the concealed good that's within oneself and within the world. The letter Yod has two meanings. The first one is after the marriage of the Ches, Hashem and the husband and the wife, and after the letter Tes, which is the mother being pregnant with the child for 9 months, then comes the Yud, which is the child that's now born. Another meaning of the Yod is like we had in the letter Aleph, it refers to Hashem, that in order for Hashem to be able to create the world and for him to be able to create a child, Hashem needs to take his unlimited power and contain it into a small Yud, allowing for a child and for a world to remain in existence. The letter Chaf is spelled with the Chaf and the Pei, which are the first two letters of the word koyach and poyel, which means to actualize our potential. If you look at its shape, the letter Chaf looks like a keser, a crown on the head of a king. The gematria, numerical value of keser, is 620, which are all of the mitzvahs that Hashem gave to us. And when we actualize our potential in keeping all of the mitzvahs, then we merit to wear the crown of the king. The letter Lamed means to learn and to teach. This is the only letter in the Alef Bet that extends upwards and goes above its line. If you look at its shape, it has two parts. First, it has a Chaf at the bottom, and the second part is a Vav at its top. This represents a student using his koyach, using his potential to strive and to go upwards to the Vav, to his teacher, and learn Torah. The letter Mem represents Mayim, which is water, and Torah. The letter Mem has the same two parts as the letter Lamed. On its right you have the Chaf, and on the left you have the Vav. In the letter Lamed, the Chaf was attempting to reach upwards towards the Vav, and in the letter Mem it succeeds. The Chaf moves upwards next to the letter Vav, thus creating the Mem Pesucha, the open Mem, which refers to a successfully learning the revealed part of the Torah. And we also have the Mem Sesuma, the closed Mem, which is the Chaf and the Vav closed off, representing to successfully learning the secrets of the Torah. The letter Nun means Nune Yama, which are fish in the ocean. The difference between fish in the ocean and man on dry land is that fish acknowledge and live with the fact that their source of life comes from the water. And so too the letter Nun refers to a tzaddik, that although a tzaddik lives in this physical world, it lives with the mindset that Hashem is its source of life. And this gives the tzaddik the potential to reach lower down into the world and make a change and a difference in places that regular people cannot reach. The letter Samach comes from the word soymech, which means to support. In the Luchos, there were two letters, the Mem Sesuma, the closed Mem, and the Samach, which are circular and has no points touching its surface, that were miraculously supported and hanging in the Luchos by Hashem. In connection to the world, the Samach also represents Hashem's interaction to the world that's perfectly circular, perfectly equal to all of the world's existence. The letter Ayin means Einayim, which are eyes. Unlike the Samach, which is a perfect circle and all-encompassing power of Hashem in relationship to the world, The ayin are Hashem's two eyes looking in the world and looking at every specific one of his creations and seeing its unique power and potential. The letter Pei comes from the word Peh, which means mouth. If you look at its form, there are two parts. There is the shape of the letter itself, the Pei, referring to our mouth. Then there is the form within the letter which creates the letter Beis. The letter Beis is the first letter in the Torah for the word Bereshis, thus representing using our mouth to speak the words of Torah. The letter Tzadi, or as many pronounce it, connecting it to the next letter, the Kuf, a Tzadik, means righteous, a righteous person. It is the only letter in the Alef Bet that is the most similar to a Aleph, because a Tzaddik can only succeed in his mission, which will be explained in the following letter, through being connected to the Aleph, to the Alufay Shel Olam, to Hashem. The letter Kuf is the first letter of the word Kadosh, which means holy. If you look at its shape, it has two parts. It has a Reish and a Zayin, spelling the word Raz, which means secret. It's the mission of a Ish Kadosh, of a holy man and a righteous man, to go down into the world and to find the hidden and secret sparks that are within the world and elevate them back to Kedusha. The letter Reish means beginning, or Rosh, which means head, as you can see from the shape of the letter. If you take the last three letters of the Alef Bet, Reish, Shin, and Saf, they form the word Reishis, because it is only once Hashem has all of the 22 letters of the Alef Bet, can he now begin and create the world. The letter Shin is the first letter of the word Shalheves, which means a flame. If you look at its shape, a Shin has three Vavs coming out from its base. These three Vavs represents the three flames, the three burning, passionate, fiery love that all of us Yidden have. The first Vav is the love that we have towards our fellow Yid. The second Vav is the love that we have towards the Torah. And the third Vav is the fiery love that we all have to Hashem. The letter Saf means a sign or a seal. Although when Hashem created the world, he created it in a way where he is hidden, nonetheless, he left his mark, he left his imprint, that when we look close enough, we can find Hashem and live with him in our reality.